In the next few minutes, you're about to witness a moment that no one inside the Got Talent Theater could ever forget. A man who sells snacks on the streets of Manila will walk onto the world's biggest stage with nothing but a borrowed shirt, trembling hands, and a voice he has kept hidden his entire life. The performance you're about to hear made the audience gasp, made the judges rise to their feet, and brought one of them to tears before hitting the golden buzzer with full force. Stay with this story, because what happened after the music started changed his life forever. The cameras open backstage where a thin man stands alone, nervously rubbing his palms against his faded jeans. His name is Ramon. For 20 years, he pushed a small wooden cart down the busy streets of Manila selling banana Q and bottled water for a few pesos a day. Most people never noticed him. Some smiled politely, others brushed past like he wasn't even there. But every night, when the streets became quiet and he packed away his cart, he would sing to himself under the dim streetlights. It was the only part of his day that felt like freedom. No crowd, no noise, no struggle. Just the sound of his voice echoing through broken concrete walls and narrow alleyways. For years, people told him he had something special, but he never believed them. Who would listen to a poor vendor? Who would give him a chance? His entire life had taught him the same lesson: survival comes before dreams. But everything changed the day a tourist recorded him singing while he cooked food, posted it online, and within hours thousands of people were commenting that his voice deserved a stage. A real stage. One comment said he could win Got Talent if he ever dared to try. Ramon read it again and again, not because he believed it but because it felt good to imagine a different life. His daughter, whom he raised alone after his wife passed away, sat beside him that night and said the words he never expected to hear. "Papa, you always push us to try even when we're scared. Now it's your turn." She put a crumpled 500 peso bill into his hand. It was all the money she had secretly saved from her school allowance. "Use this to travel to the audition," she whispered. "Even if you don't win, I just want you to try." And so he did. Now he stands backstage, staring at a single microphone placed in the center of the brightly lit stage. Every second he waits, he feels smaller. He knows the world judges people like him quickly. One look at his worn-out clothes, his trembling fingers, and they might laugh. But what they don't know is that inside his chest lives a story of survival, love, and sacrifice that shaped every note he sings. The assistant gives him a gentle tap on the shoulder. "You're on next," she says softly. He steps forward, pushing through the curtain. The lights hit his face instantly. The audience is massive, stretching in every direction like an endless sea of faces. The judges sit behind their glowing panels, powerful, intimidating, waiting to see what this man can possibly offer. He hears whispers in the crowd. Some people smile kindly, others look confused, some tilt their heads, trying to guess what this thin, quiet vendor might sing. The host announces his name. "Please welcome Ramon from the Philippines." He nods nervously. His voice shakes when he greets the judges. One of them asks why he came to the show. Ramon takes a deep breath and says the most honest words he has ever spoken. "I came here because my daughter believes in me more than I ever believed in myself. I just want to make her proud." The audience softens. The judges exchange looks. Something about his sincerity hits them unexpectedly. The music begins. A gentle instrumental fills the air, and Ramon closes his eyes for a moment. When he opens them again, he isn't in front of thousands of people. He is standing on the familiar streets of Manila, under the orange glow of the old lamps, where he used to sing to no one except the stars. He inhales, and the first note leaves his lips. The entire theater freezes. His voice is warm yet powerful, like someone pouring emotion into every syllable. It carries struggle, pain, loss, but also incredible hope. People in the front row lean forward, stunned by the unexpected richness of his tone. The judges blink rapidly, surprised. No one expected this voice from a simple vendor. It rises and falls with perfect control, wrapped in a story only he has lived. Halfway through the song, the emotion becomes too strong. The lines about a parent working day and night for their child hit him hard. His voice trembles and cracks for a moment, but instead of ruining the performance, it makes it real. The audience feels it. They know he isn't performing. He's living every word. The camera is cut to the judges. One of them wipes tears. Another shakes their head in disbelief. The entire theater has gone silent except for his voice and the soft echo of the orchestra behind him. Then the chorus comes. Ramon lifts his face toward the lights and sings with everything he has, as if releasing years of silent pain. His voice soars through the auditorium, and in that instant, every doubt, every insult, every struggle on the streets disappears. He is no longer a vendor. He is an artist. When he reaches the final note, he holds it longer than anyone expects. The audience erupts instantly. People jump to their feet. They shout. They clap. They scream his name. The judges stand too, applauding with genuine respect. It is one of the biggest standing ovations of the season. But the moment isn't over. One judge leans forward and speaks with a trembling voice. "I don't care where you come from. Talent like this comes once in a lifetime." She steps back from her chair, looks at the golden buzzer, and without hesitation slams her hand down. The golden buzzer explodes. Gold confetti showers from the ceiling like rain. The music swells. Ramon gasps, covering his face with both hands. His knees weaken. He drops to the floor, sobbing uncontrollably. Years of exhaustion, poverty, and heartbreak pour out of him at once. Backstage, his daughter watches on the screen and bursts into tears, running onto the stage the moment crew members allow her. She throws her arms around him. "Papa, you did it," she cries. "I knew you could." The audience melts at the sight. Cameras zoom in on their embrace. Tears stream down his face, mixing with the falling gold. A judge walks onto the stage and kneels beside him, telling him that his voice belongs to the world and that his daughter's belief just changed everything. Ramon tries to speak but no words come out. He simply nods as confetti sticks to his hair and clothes. Later, backstage, he sits on a bench trying to process the moment. Someone hands him water and asks how he feels. He smiles gently, wiping away lingering tears. "I feel like God heard me," he whispers. "For years I sang with an empty stomach. For years I worked so my daughter wouldn't go to sleep hungry. I never imagined a day like this." His daughter sits beside him, holding his hand tightly. "Papa, you're not invisible anymore," she says. "The world sees you now." The host appears and congratulates him again. "This is one of the most emotional golden buzzer moments we've had this season," the host says proudly. "Your story is going to inspire millions." And it did. The episode aired worldwide. Comments poured in from every corner of the globe. People admired his humility, his voice, his courage. Many wrote messages saying his performance gave them hope, made them cry, made them appreciate their parents, or reminded them to never give up. Music producers reached out. Radio stations played clips of his audition. News programs featured his story. His street cart in Manila gathered crowds of people wanting to meet him, hug him, and take photos. But even with the sudden attention, Ramon stayed the same humble man who once sang alone under the streetlights. During his semifinals performance, the judges talked about how he had become a symbol of perseverance. One said, "You are proof that greatness can come from the most unexpected places." Another judge said, "Your voice is a gift, and the world needed to hear it." Ramon simply bowed his head, still overwhelmed by everything that had happened. At home, life completely changed. The small house he and his daughter shared was filled with flowers, letters, and supportive messages. Local kids who used to pass his cart without noticing now called him Sir Ramon, asking for selfies. Neighbors who once doubted him now told everyone proudly that they lived near the man who touched the world with his voice. But he never stopped thanking his daughter. Every night after rehearsals, he would sit beside her and say, "All of this happened because you believed in me. You gave me courage when I didn't have any left." Sometimes she would laugh and reply, "Papa, I didn't give you courage. You've had it all along. You just needed a stage big enough to show it." As his journey continued on Got Talent, he faced new challenges. Bigger songs, stronger competition, and intense pressure. But he approached every performance the same way he approached life, with humility and heart. And every time he sang, the audience felt the truth in his voice. During rehearsals one evening, a vocal coach asked him why he never tried to pursue music professionally before. He smiled sadly and said, "When you struggle to feed your child, you stop dreaming for yourself. But today, I sing not just for me. I sing for every person who thinks they are too poor, too old, too ordinary to be seen." The coach wiped her eyes silently. Days before the finals, a judge visited him backstage to offer encouragement. She told him that his audition had become one of the most watched clips of the season and that people around the world were rooting for him. Ramon thanked her with a soft smile. "I never expected any of this," he said. "But now that I'm here, I want to give my best. Not to win, but to honor everyone who believed in me." On the day of the finals, he walked onto the stage looking calmer than ever. His daughter sat proudly in the audience, clutching a small yellow handkerchief that once belonged to her mother. She whispered a prayer as the lights dimmed. He performed with a depth that only comes from a lifetime of hardship and love. His voice filled the air with raw emotion that made even the toughest viewers cry. When he finished, the judges praised him for touching souls, not just ears. Whether he won or not was no longer the point. His life had already changed. Doors had opened that were once locked to him. And more importantly, he had shown millions of people that dreams don't expire, no matter how difficult life becomes. After the show, he walked outside to meet fans waiting near the stage entrance. A young boy approached him shyly, holding a small notebook. "Sir, my papa is a vendor too," the boy whispered. "He thinks he's not good at anything. Can I tell him your story?" Ramon knelt in front of the boy and placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. "Tell him he is good," he said softly. "Tell him he is strong. Tell him the world is waiting to hear his voice too." The boy hugged him tightly before running back to his family. Moments like that reminded Ramon why singing meant so much to him. It wasn't about fame. It wasn't about money. It was about connection, meaning, hope, and giving people the courage to believe in themselves again. Months later, when he returned home to Manila after the show, thousands of people gathered to welcome him. They clapped, cheered, and waved signs with his name. His daughter cried tears of joy, overwhelmed by how much love her father had received. Ramon thanked everyone with a heartfelt speech. "I am still the same man," he said. "I will never forget where I came from. I will always be grateful for the streets that raised me and the people who believed in me when I didn't believe in myself." But the moment that touched him the most came later that night. A young mother approached him quietly, carrying a baby in her arms. She said she had been depressed, hopeless, and struggling to survive. But when she watched his audition, she felt something she hadn't felt in years. She felt hope again. She told him that his voice helped her realize she wasn't alone. He held her hand gently and said, "We survived together. Your story is still being written." As time passed, Ramon continued singing. He performed on stages around the world, collaborated with musicians, and recorded songs inspired by his own life. But he also continued helping struggling street vendors in Manila, giving them supplies, food, and support. His success became a blessing not just for him, but for everyone around him. Every year, on the anniversary of his golden buzzer moment, he returned to the street where he used to push his cart. He stood under the same old lamp, closed his eyes, and sang the same song he once sang alone. But now, instead of silence, hundreds of people gathered around him, listening quietly, feeling the power of a man who never gave up. And through all the applause, fame, and recognition, he never forgot the truth that started his journey. Sometimes the world overlooks the greatest talents because they come from the humblest places. But when those talents finally get the chance to shine, they light up the whole world. His story became a reminder that dreams are worth chasing, no matter where you come from, no matter how long you've struggled, and no matter who says you can't do it. Because sometimes, all it takes is one moment, one song, and one golden buzzer to change a life forever.